everybody. Thank you for the introduction, Jesse. I'd actually like to start by thanking Jesse and James and everybody here at Uptown for hosting this event, and for the Flagstaff community for being so welcoming. It's great to be in the fold here. It's actually very ironic that I'm here right now, because about 15 years ago when I was a senior in high school, I tried to buy beer here. And I don't remember if they let me buy beer here or not, but I did kind of like hang around and play pool, and that was fun. My mom's here tonight. Just my mom, my stepdad. So tonight I'm going to read to you a little chapter. It's what I think is the opening of a book that I'm writing. It's a true story about some time that I spent in New York being an idiot, and some time that I spent in Guatemala also being an idiot. Big character arcs happen in this book. So you don't need any background, hopefully. The only thing I'd like to say is, Mom, I know you did not want me to buy that scooter in Guatemala, but I want you to remember that I'm here in the flesh and I'm alive and I'm telling this story, so there was a happy ending. So the book is tentatively called The Last Chicken Bus to Brooklyn. I'm dead, I think to myself. I've never been dead, so I'm not certain, but this is how it feels, I think. I can't feel anything. Not my legs, or my arms, or my face. I try to move what I think are my fingers and toes, but if they actually move, I am unaware of their response. I am on my back on the ground, my eyes closed. A heaty mix of exhaust fumes and cooking fire smoke assault my nostrils. I can hear voices, many voices, and several songs playing from different crackling radios. I'm dead, I think again, as I peel my eyelashes apart and start to focus on the scene above me. The first thing I see are clouds, moving at improbable cloud speed. They zoom above me in a blue sky that is tic-tac-toed with black telephone lines. Next, I smell smoke. I see it rising from somewhere close by me, and then I see it. It's not in big plumes, but in slow, sexy wafts that float up into the air like they have nowhere to be. Then there are people. 1, 2, 2 men stand over me, their eyes squinting. They're talking. Are they about to ask me something? If they are, I can't understand them. But they're probably not, because I'm dead. Where am I? Let's see. Before this, I went to my appointment. I had time before I was going to work, so I jumped on my scooter. Wait, not my scooter, Danny's scooter. I jumped on Danny's scooter, the one that he lent me, and I drove towards Acatenango. I needed to think, to convince myself, to feel the sun and the wind and the road grit on my face. I needed to drive. I looped around Dueñas and I cut through Ciudad Vieja to get back. I stopped at the stop sign, I saw the bus did not see me, the bus did not stop. The bus didn't stop. Feeling in my back is returning. I can feel the asphalt digging into my skin like someone shooting me with jagged pebbles. The smell changes. A mix of burnt rubber and sour perspiration from a body that hasn't showered in too many days add to the exhaust and the kitchen fire smoke. One of the radios changes songs, and a Pitbull song comes on. From another radio farther off, marimba music plays. The men standing above me seem to be arguing. One is wearing a red polo shirt, and the other a sweat-stained t-shirt and a trucker's hat. Polo shirt dude pushes trucker's hat, and they start to argue. The argument is broken up when a third man pushes them both out of the way and gets very close to my face. ¿Qué pasó, señorita? ¿Estás herida? He's speaking Spanish, I think? Do I speak Spanish? Ella me parece bien, vámonos, said the man in the trucker's hat. Cerote, le golpeaste con tu camioneta, ella no me parece bien. That asshole hit me with his bus? Why don't I look alright? Maybe my face is scraped off. Maybe the bus pulled me limb from limb and I will be confined to a wheelchair for the rest of my life. Why don't I look alright? And now I need to know, so I try and sit up. But I still can't move. I retwine my fingers and my toes, and this time I almost cry with relief when I can feel the bones in my toes crackling as I wiggle them. Señorita, ¿puedes hablar? ¿Cómo te llamas? The third man asks. Natalie? Okay, Natalie, puedes mover. Where am I? ¿Qué digo ella? Trucker's hat asks, like I've accused him of something. My Spanish is coming back, and so I reply, Les dije, ¿dónde estoy ahora? Polo shirt dude speaks. Ciudad Vieja, señorita. Right. I was driving through Ciudad Vieja. I remember now. The bus didn't stop. The three men start arguing in Spanish too fast for me to keep up. They seem to be very concerned with proving each other wrong, as most Guatemalan men are. So I take this moment to try and sit up again, and this time my body cooperates. I'm sitting in a slumped 90-degree angle, and I can see from my chest down now. Nothing looks wrong. No missing limbs, no bones sticking out anywhere. There are some road marks on my clothes, but that's it. Maybe there's something wrong with my face? Why don't I look all right? Two women push through the bickering men and kneel beside me. They are about my age, maybe late 20s. Their faces are full and round like the moon, and the color of chicory. They wear traje típica, long woven skirts and colorful embroidered blouses, the traditional dress of Guatemala that visually distinguishes the Mayans from the mostly mestizo population. One woman touches me, my arms and my torso and my legs, pressing down every time her hands make contact with my body. The other speaks to me calmly in very good English. Hello, miss, are you okay? Yes, I think so. Can you move? What is she doing? I ask, gesturing towards the other woman who is now tapping on their ribs. Excuse me, miss, but she is checking to make sure that their ribs are not broken. Oh, how will she know if my ribs are broken? Excuse me, miss, but you will scream. Oh, thank you. Miss, I think we can move you now, please. I don't feel like it's an option, seeing as that I'm sitting in the middle of a crowded intersection. Sure, I reply. Yes, okay. Yes? Okay. The two women hoist me up by my arms. I am stiff, but nothing feels broken, although I guess they know that already, because I haven't screamed. They walk me to the curb, one underneath each arm, like a football player gets escorted across the field after he's been injured. Like many of the Mayans in Guatemala, the women are about a foot shorter than me, and I'm 5'4". But they're strong, and they deliver me safely to the curb. The men who were initially arguing over me are quiet now, embarrassed into silence at how deftly these women came to my aid. I have a better view of everything. In front of me, in the middle of the intersection, is a huge bus, painted green and red and white with blinking LED lights striped down the side. On the door there is a sticker that reads, Jesus es mi pelota, or Jesus is my driver. Exhaust is still rising from the engine. Faces, young and old, press against the glass and hang out of the bus's windows, trying to get a glimpse of the gringa the driver ran down. Precariously close to the front wheel is my scooter, or Danny's scooter. A little scratched up, but not crunched. A crowd has gathered on the sidewalk. The women are still checking me. The one who speaks English is pressing down hard on my head, and I can only assume it's to make sure that isn't broken either. I don't remember if I was wearing a helmet, but if I was, it's nowhere to be found now. Trucker Hat comes at me, and in his hand, a pack of off-brand cigarettes. ¿Quieres? The women jump all over him too fast for me to keep up, but I make out, fucker, reckless, and died. Am I dead? The line between death and life, reality and hallucination seem precariously blurred right now. And so I run through a series of questions in my head to try and ground myself in one reality or the other. Where are you? Guatemala. How did you get here? A plane. When? I flew back from New York about a month ago. How long have you lived here? Almost a year. Why did you come? My thoughts pause here, which I think is a good thing, because I can't imagine being concerned with whys if I were dead. Several answers come to mind. Because Jacob and I broke up, because he couldn't stand up to his fucking Jewish mother. That's harsh. Because he couldn't stand up to his controlling Jewish mother. Because he didn't love me anymore. Because I'd grown tired of New York. of the cold, of the mindless ambition that pushes the city forward, of the endless nights and the partying and the unbearably lonely mornings because it's too early to call all the friends who usually boost my ego. They sleep later than I do, and they're usually just as hungover. Because Ginger told me to come, because I needed to run. My brain meditates on this last thing for a moment, because I needed to run, because I am very good at running. Running is easy, staying is hard. The third man approaches the women. ¿Cómo está la chica? The English-speaking one answers. Ella tiene suerte, nada parece roto, gracias a Dios, solamente necesita descansar. Yes, I must be lucky, and apparently I look all right. But rest, I can't rest. I have to go to work. Bueno, says the trucker's hat. Me voy. Hasta la vista, chica. It's like a firecracker went off. Both women and the two men exploded him, peppering him with slurs and damnations. But the trucker's hat doesn't seem to care. He throws his hands up in the air as if to say, it's not my fault some dumb gringa hit my bus while I was running a stop sign. And keeps walking. He settles his big belly in the pleather seat. He turns the key to kickstart the ignition, honks the horn, and drives off in a trail of exhaust. Pinche cabrón, says the third man, as we watch the bus disappear around the corner. Polo shirt dude picks up my bike, turns it on, and gives it a few revs. Aside from a few scrapes at the side, it seems fine. Miss, the woman asks, if you okay, can we go? Our bus leaves in 5 minutes from the station. Yes, sí, I reply. Y muchas gracias por todo, son angelitas. Sí, we are angels, but you survived the crash, and that was thanks to God. Both women cross themselves and walk towards the bus station. Polo shirt dude wheels my scooter to me and sets its kickstand. Vaya con cuidado, señorita, he says. Go with caution. And he walks off down the street with the third man. At the next intersection, they split off without saying a word. And now I sit alone on the curb like nothing has happened. I take another moment to collect myself. Bells from the church in the distance mix with the radios. 3 of Guatemala's mostly benign volcanoes, Fuego, Acatenango, and Agua, stick out of the melange of low stucco buildings in the foreground of this commuter town. Ciudad Vieja, or Old City, was the second capital of Guatemala after Ixmiquil, where the Spanish conquered the Mayans. Ciudad Vieja was set up at the base of Volcán de Agua, amongst the lush greenery and fertile volcanic soil. Agua hadn't erupted in hundreds of years, so the Spanish thought that they would be safe. But in 1541, more rain came than the citizens of Ciudad Vieja had seen in generations. Agua's dormant cap filled with water, too much water, and one day the cap collapsed. Water flooded the town and destroyed much of the city center. Many died. The wealthy picked up and moved to Antigua to build a new capital, but the poor, who couldn't afford to move, scattered to unaffected areas and eventually resettled in Ciudad Vieja. Now it is a major vein into Antigua, and buses, just like the one that hit me, filter in and out, sometimes 100 per hour. I reach to check for my cell phone in the back pocket of my jeans, and I'm elated to find that it's still there. And now I see that it's time to go to work. I pull one arm across the other, and then I pull the other one across the other side. I throw my arms into the air above my head just to make sure they both work. I crack my knuckles, and that's when I notice some writing on my left hand. It's faded and a little smudged, but it reads, in Spanish and English, Querido Universo, por favor, me envías un señal. Dear Universe, please send me a sign. Thank you.